All we need now is for the 1% of America that owns 50% of the stock market, that 1% includes me, to wake up and buy Bitcoin. So, I think that's going to happen. I've never been so bullish in terms of, from a political standpoint, that we feel like we have the wind at our backs. We have a tailwind now. So I think we could go up, 3 to 5x over the next 18 months without too much effort.
Fred Krueger begins by addressing the pressing issue of high interest rates. The United States currently finds itself in a 4.5% interest rate environment, which poses significant challenges for a country burdened with $36 trillion in debt. Compounding the issue, $7 trillion of this debt must be refinanced within the year. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has openly expressed a desire to bring rates down, recognizing the immense pressure these high rates place on the economy. Despite Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell having another year in office, Krueger believes his eventual replacement could align more closely with the Treasury's objectives.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
Lower short-term rates. We're still in a 4.5% interest rate environment. I think that's a very problematic for a country with $36 trillion in debt and $7 trillion, which has to be refinanced this year. So Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has said that he wants the interest rate down. We do have another year of Chairman Powell, but he will be replaced. The Treasury is doing whatever it can to get interest rates down. And furthermore, we're having what looks like to be a recession on the horizon. So that's very good for rates. If rates go down, there are less good places to put your money, and that's good for Bitcoin. Long rates, 10-year rates. Bessent has said that one of his goals, or maybe even the biggest goal, is to lower long-term interest rates. So that's something we have to look forward to. I think they're gonna come down, and there may be QE, right? So the Fed may be back to QE. They were in QT, quantitative tightening mode, and that's sort of over at this point. But I think that the policy of high long-term rates that has now persisted since late 2022 is over. Now the other thing is we've established a Bitcoin reserve, but we haven't talked about how we can go and fund it. There's some new guidance that we have to do that in a revenue neutral way. Our friend Tom Young has a great post on all the different revenue neutral ways you could do this. So this doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means that you need to kind of cross your T's and dot your I's to do it. But there's lots of ways we can add Bitcoin now that we have the Bitcoin reserve. And then finally, there's this sovereign wealth fund that's sort of being set up independently of the Bitcoin reserve, which could buy Bitcoin, which could also buy other cryptocurrencies, could buy all kinds of stuff. So again, that's another thing that's very bullish for Bitcoin. So you put all these things together and then you add just time, right? So, we don't need any of these new other things to happen. I think we're going to get a lot of them, if not all of them. We don't need any of them to happen. All we need now is for the 1% of America that owns 50% of the stock market, that 1% includes me, to wake up and buy Bitcoin. So, I think that's going to happen. How it happens, how fast it happens, I don't know. We have the power law that tells us how long things have been happening historically. I would argue that, we are on the best of all trajectories here. I've never been so bullish on, in terms of, from a political standpoint, that we feel like we have the wind at our backs. We have a tailwind now. So I think we could go up, 3 to 5x over the next 18 months without too much effort. So I don't find traders who make money. I find people who do nothing make money. So Bitcoin's optimized for those who do nothing. $9 trillion of rolling debts. Yeah, we need interest rates to go down. So imagine how much appetite there will be for Bitcoin in a 3% interest rate environment. How about a 2% interest rate environment? The ECB has lowered rates to 2.5%, and they're going further down. They're going to go below 2%. So China's lowering interest rates. ECB is lowering interest rates. We're going to lower interest rates. If Trump could push a button and lower interest rates, he'd lower up to 1% today. That's where it is. So yeah, I think I'm extremely positive. For every, this stuff never goes the way you think it will go. Nobody has any visibility over the next 30 days, even next 3 months, I would say. Impossible.
Krueger underscores Trump's impact on the crypto space, particularly his stance on taxation and regulation. He believes that Trump's presidency could usher in a more favorable regulatory environment for Bitcoin and crypto. If Trump were to eliminate capital gains taxes on long-term Bitcoin holdings, it would significantly incentivize investment in the asset. Furthermore, Krueger references the landmark statement by the SEC on February 27th, which clarified that meme coins are not securities. This statement further legitimizes the broader crypto market, potentially paving the way for greater institutional participation.
The next year even is still difficult, like statistically. So, the only thing you can do is maybe lighten up a little bit if you get into these periods of euphoria, which we're not in right now. And you can measure that by the great work that SEMA and Plan C have done for these, richness indicators based on the power law. I think they're very good, and they can give you a little bit of an indication as to where we are. In terms of fair value, right now we're smack at 50%, right? So, with that said, like everybody else, I'm a monkey that loves to check the market, I actually think we're going to go higher in the short term, but I could be completely wrong. Why would Congress eliminate tax increases? I don't know. I think that Congress will do whatever Trump wants to do, and they don't have a mind of their own at this point. And I think Trump wants to eliminate taxes on crypto. I think there are two fundamental growth areas in the U.S. economy that we have to prioritize. And those are, number one and most importantly, AI. That is by far the most important. And then a second is crypto. Much less than AI, right? But to the extent that we've neglected it now for the last 5-6 years, we have some catching up to do. So I think crypto is going to be prioritized. I think the Congress will pass it. I don't think it'll be a very partisan thing, but I think it's going to get through. On January 11th, we finally had the Bitcoin ETF, right? So this was the big milestone for all traditional investors who really couldn't get any meaningful exposure to Bitcoin without the Bitcoin ETF. So that was the first thing. And I'm going to probably miss a few, so this will be a good kind of mental exercise for me to kind of go back and check on these checklists. You can say in between the Bitcoin ETF and Trump, I think you have Michael Saylor issuing these convertible bonds, especially around November, but and just this huge buying of Bitcoin by Michael Saylor. That's really the other thing that happened in 2024. Then, of course, we have the election. Election's over on November 8th. Trump's clearly elected. We now have, I think that goes down with the ETF. We have, for the first time, a pro-Bitcoin, pro-crypto president, right? Another one I forgot of, which is Trump, right before that is the inauguration in January. We have Trump launching his meme coin. So I would say that's also significant. It just shows that he really doesn't care, that the new world order has changed completely. Same time, Gary Gensler leaves on January 20th. We have Ross Ulbricht released on January 21st. That was something a lot of us Bitcoiners have been pushing for a long time. And then on February 27th, we have this statement by the SEC saying that meme coins are not securities. On March 6th, yesterday, we have that the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve finally takes its initial hold. There's an immediate sell-off. They sell the news. Oh no. And then today we have this crypto summit that David Sachs is hosting. So if you look at this kind of in a line like this, it's been an amazing trajectory going from the ETF may not even happen to we have a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. So it's rather amazing. Now, what's left? What's left is, I'd say the first thing, lower taxes, right? And we might see that little bit of that news today. Ideally, you want no taxes, the abolition of the IRS. That's not happening today. That's not what this crypto board is about. But we might see a statement on taxes on crypto. And that could come in different forms. I could say, you don't have to report you don't have to report to the IRS if you do, say, under $2,000 of crypto transactions in a year. That would be very positive, right? That would really help sort of adoption of payments. That would be great. The second thing is there may be no tax on capital gains. So if you hold Bitcoin for over a year, it's non-taxable. Well, wouldn't that be great? That would be amazing, right?
The establishment of a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve is a game changer, according to Krueger. While the initial market reaction saw a sell the news event, he believes the long-term implications are overwhelmingly positive. Additionally, with regulatory clarity improving, Krueger expects further positive developments, such as tax exemptions for small crypto transactions and potential capital gains tax relief. He envisions a scenario where Bitcoin's adoption accelerates due to these structural shifts. By reducing the tax burden on Bitcoin transactions, policymakers could encourage its use as a medium of exchange. If capital gains taxes were removed for long-term Bitcoin holders, it would further cement Bitcoin's role as a premier store of value. Please like and subscribe.